Nikon just released firmware version 3.0 for the Z6 and Z7, and I can't understand why they're giving pet eye detection top billing when there's a much more exciting improvement included. Larry here with Southern Exposure, information and inspiration for the amateur photographer. Firmware version 3.0 is now available for the Nikon Z6 and Z7. I've downloaded and installed it on my Z6, and I've been exploring the changes. There was one update that's getting all the attention, and honestly, I wasn't that excited about it. Until I did a little experiment. That feature is the Pet Eye Detection Autofocus. One reason I wasn't really interested, of course, is I don't have a dog or a cat. Those are the only animals that Nikon claims this new feature works with. So it didn't seem like it would be much use to me, and honestly, I'm not sure who this is useful for. I mean, other than the first few days with a new camera, when you just want to take pictures of anything, are people really taking that many photos of their pets? Maybe it's just me. Trash me in the comments if you want. But I've discovered something that may change my mind on that, and I'll show you what I mean later in this video. But first, I want to talk about what did get me excited about version 3.0, and that is the improvements to subject tracking. AF tracking of moving subjects is an area where Nikon's DSLRs still have a clear edge over the mirrorless bodies. It was actually something that made it tough for me to make the switch to the Z6 versus, say, the D850. I'm hoping this upgrade closes that gap a little. In the previous version, subject tracking was available, but it was really cumbersome to use. In AF full mode, if you wanted to use subject tracking, you had to press the OK button on the back of the camera to bring up the tracking box. Once you placed the box on your subject, you could grab focus normally and it would track that subject until it lost it. Either on its own or if the subject left the field of view, whatever. But the only way to get the box back on the subject or to choose a different subject was to press the OK button again, which would exit subject tracking altogether, then press the OK button again to re-engage subject tracking and start all over again. This was such a hassle that I just never really used subject tracking at all. If I was shooting a moving subject, I just went with dynamic area autofocus, set the focus point in the center, and tried to follow my subject like that. This was not a good compromise, and I imagine a lot of other Z6 and Z7 shooters did the same thing. Now, with version 3.0, I think I'll be using subject tracking a lot more often. What they've done is set it up so you can assign a function button on the front of the camera to turn on subject tracking. A short press on the function button while in AF full mode pops the tracking box up in the middle of your viewfinder. Simply place the box over your subject and half press the shutter button or use your back button focus, and it automatically starts tracking that subject. Lose your subject or simply want to pick another one? No problem. Just release focus and the tracking box pops back into the center of the viewfinder, ready to acquire a new target. This is awesome, and it works a lot more like the 3D tracking autofocus that's available on the higher-end Nikon DSLRs. Along with this great upgrade to the focusing system, they added support for more third-party CF Express cards and also functionality for the new Z-mount lenses as well as some bug fixes. But what was it that changed my mind about the animal eye autofocus detection? This.
Try to catch me howling at the moon.
Now granted, this is really not a real-world test, but that is clearly not a dog or a cat, and the focusing system is still detecting the eyes and face. It does seem a little jumpy, and I don't know for sure if this will actually work that way out in the field, but if it does, that's great. And even if it doesn't, it means they're getting close to being able to recognize other animals and may have another update on the way that will expand the official list of animals it will cover. Either way, that turned me from animal eye detect for dogs and cats, who needs it, to wow, this is pretty cool. So those are my thoughts and observations on Nikon's firmware version 3.0 for the Z6 and Z7 cameras. I'm really glad they're putting so much effort into improving these cameras. It shows me that they're dedicated to making this system successful. Let me know what you think in the comments. That's all for now, so update your firmware, then go take pictures and have fun doing it. Thanks.
Hope they won't shoot me down.
Whoop, whoop.